Hi, this is Mrs. Nandor, and in this video we are going to review our rounding rules. So just to kind of really quickly go over the rules. So if we want to round, you're going to find the decimal place where you want to round to. So you're going to find your decimal, and if it says round to 2 decimal places, you're going to count over from the decimal. You're going to count to the right 2 places. So then once we get to that spot you want to round to, you're going to look 1 place to the right. Now, if that number on the right is equal to or bigger than 5, so if it's 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, your number on the left is going to go up 1. If the number on the right is 4, 3, 2, or 1, so any number less than 5, it's going to stay the same. So we're really just, you're going to find the place you want to round to, look to the right. If it's 5 or bigger, the number goes up. If it's less than 5, the number goes down. Let's look at a couple examples. So for all of these examples, we want to round to 3 decimal places. So your problem in class, so whether it's on your homework, your quiz, or your test, whatever you're working on, will tell you how many decimal places to round to. So it will either say round to blank number decimal places, it'll be a number in parentheses, it will somehow be indicated how many decimal places you need to round to. So in this case, we want to round to 3. So for my first number, I have 2,104.950138. So I want to round to 3 decimal places. So there's my decimal. I'm going to count over 3. 1, 2, 3. That's my cutoff. I'm going to look 1 place to the right. 1 place to the right is a 1. Is 1 5? No. Is 1 bigger than 5? No. Which means that this number is going to stay the same. So all of that falls off. So it's 2,104.950. Let's look at our second example. So still rounding to 3 decimal places. So I have 6.7029. I have my decimal point. I'm going to go over 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3. Draw my line. I'm going to look 1 place to the right. It's a 9. My 9 is bigger than 5. Which means that this number is going to go up. So I'm going to have 6.703 because the 9 rounds the 2 up. And then in my last one, I have 21.79023. I want to round it to 3 decimal places, so there's my decimal. 1, 2, 3. There's my cutoff. Look to the right, it's a 2. 2 is less than 5. Which means that this is going to fall off. This is just going to stay the same. So we have 21.790. Before we move on to our calculation example, I want to point out something with 2 of our examples. 2 of our examples ended in a 0. If it says round to 3 decimal places, you must include that 0. You can't just not include the 0. Now, I know it doesn't technically change the number. 21.79 is still the same as 21.790, but that 0 tells you something about how accurate your measuring tools are. So it's important that if it says 3 decimal places or 2 decimal places or whatever, if that last decimal place is a 0, it has to stay a 0. You have to type that in or write it in your answer. Let's talk about how we do calculations when we round. So when we round answers for a calculation, you do the whole calculation. You carry over all the numbers. You don't round until the very end. So you're going to do all your math first, and then you're going to round. So let's use this as our example. Grab my calculator. So I have 3.54 plus 27.983 times 13.1. So I'm going to do all of that math at once. So in my calculator, I'm going to type 3.54 plus 27.983. When I add those together, I get 31.523. I'm going to include all the numbers. And then I'm going to multiply that by 13.1. And I get 412.9513. Now in science, we don't really want to keep all those numbers. They're not all important. We don't have measuring tools that are usually that good. So pretty standard in chemistry is going to be round to 2 or 3 decimal places. So let's say for this one it says round to 2 decimal places. Well, I'd have 412. 2 decimal places are my 9 and my 5. My 1 is less than 5, so it's the 9-5 is going to stay the same. So it's 412.95 as my final answer. So notice, even though it said 2 decimal places, I didn't round this number to 2 decimal places. I waited until the very end to do my rounding, and that's always what you want to do. Wait until the very end to round your answer.